Hey guys, it's Jen here from Nails by Jen. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome to my channel. So today's tutorial is all about snowflakes and glitter. I wanted to show you guys several different ways to do some snowflake designs. We've got chrome, we've got sparkle, I've got stamping, hand painting, a little bit of texture. So I've got tons of stuff going on in these nails. So if this is something you're interested in, stick around, keep watching. As always, don't forget to click that like and subscribe for me. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below, and let's get started. Okay guys, so let me just start off by saying that it is extremely windy outside right now, so if you hear some crazy sounds in the background, that's what it is. I can't do nothing about it because Mother Nature is on a rampage this morning. So let's get into all of the products. There's going to be quite a few products that I'm using in today's design because I'm doing so many different designs. I wanted to show you a lot of ways to do snowflakes. So I'm going to start off with the glitter because unfortunately this glitter no longer exists. This is my last jar of it. And I'm very sad because it is the most amazing white glitter that I have ever found. As you guys know, I have probably closer now to 700 glitters in my collection, and I have yet to find anything that is as good as this white glitter. So this is actually from the company called Art Glitter. I used to get it at Can West, which is now Creative Beauty, and it's called Diamante, and I have searched the entire world for this glitter and I cannot find it. They do not manufacture it anymore. So if you have this glitter, hold on to it tightly because that is it. So I'm going to be using this glitter. Now, you can see in the lid, I don't know if it'll show it or not, but there is a very small amount of an iridescent fleck to it, very, very small, but mainly it is a white glitter. It is a beautiful white glitter. Now you can see it looks like there's some silver flecks in there as well, but really it is the whitest sparkly glitter that I've ever used. So if anyone knows of a glitter that will duplicate this one, please, please let me know in the comments section below because I have been on the hunt for probably a year now, and I actually thought that I was completely out of it, and I found a random jar in my extra glitters in my closet, so I was doing a happy dance, but this is all I have left. So I'm going to be using this glitter in its raw form, but I'm also going to be using it mixed with acrylic. So I have this one here that I've just mixed with clear acrylic, so I'm going to be using that as well. I don't know if there's anything else in here. There might be some a little bit of like a matte white glitter as well. I just picked this one out of my drawer, so I think there's a little bit of white matte glitter in here also. So this is the one I'm going to be using, but basically you want a white glitter if you have one. If not, just go for an iridescent. We're going to put a white base underneath anyways, so that we're going to use for the white base. So for the white base, I'm going to be using, for acrylic, I'm just going to be using my little custom mix here of 2 parts clear to 1 part white. This is an old product line that I used to use. You can see I just have a little bit left here. And then I'm going to also be using a clear acrylic. So as I've mentioned in videos past, that I have started using the Young Nails acrylic. So I've got their Speed Clear. And obviously I'm also going to be using their monomer. And then you are going to need some type of a white gel polish or a white gel paint, whatever you prefer. So I'm just going to be using the one here from Madame Glam called Perfect White. And I'm also going to be doing some chroming. So I've got the Kiara Sky non-wipe top coat. Now Young Nails does have a no wipe top coat. I do not remember the name of it. You guys know that I love their stain resistant. So I mentioned or asked them if they had a no wipe top coat. They do. I can't remember the name of it, but if anybody uses it, please let me know in the comment section how you like it. If you use it with chromes, if you use it, you know, on a regular basis, how do you like it? Does it stain? Does it crack? All of those things. Please let me know before I purchase it. So for now, I'm just going to use the Kiara Sky non-wipe top coat because I have it. It's a full bottle, so I'm going to be using this till it's empty. And then for the chrome, I'm going to be using the Coco and Claire. Now this one is called Eternity. It does come individually, or you can purchase it in a pack of 3. The other 2 are called Bougie and Signature KNC. And they are both very, very nice. And it also comes with their silicone tool, so I'll be using that today as well. I would highly recommend purchasing the kit. If you don't have any of the unicorn type of chromes, I would highly, highly suggest purchasing the Coco and Claire kit. It's a really nice kit. The chromes are very, very nice, and the silicone tool is really, really pretty. And it works really well. I've used it quite a bit. And then I'm also going to be using some stamping plates. So along with the chrome, I am going to be using just a little makeup applicator as well for the stamping portion with the chrome. I find it easier to apply the chrome onto my stamper. So now when we get into the stamps, I've got 2 here that are Snowflake stamping plates. So this one here is from London. It has rubbed off on the back. I have had this one for a very long time. This is was my one and only Snowflake stamping plate that I had forever. It is very, very well used, and it's a very good stamping plate. I love it. But recently, I think last Christmas or winter season, I purchased this one. Now, I do not know what the brand is. I don't, as you can see, it's written in Chinese or something. But if you just searched L056, you will, I'm sure, find it. This Moyu London one is called Festive. It's from the Festive collection. It's number 2. So I really like this one too because it has just like more delicate and fancier snowflakes, I would say. Like this one is really, really pretty. Now, because this is going to be my first time using it this season, I cannot remember if I had any issues with the images transferring because they were so fine and delicate. I don't remember having any issues, but we'll find out today because I think I'm going to use this one. I just wanted to show you both of them because I do have both of them in my collection, and I would recommend both of them. Of course, you're going to need some type of a scraper. I've just got this one that I got from wherever, but whatever credit card or item that you use for scraping. As far as stamping polish goes, I've got this little one here from Born Pretty. I've been using this one for quite some time. It's almost empty, but I'm going to finish this one off. So this is just their white. And then I'm going to be using 2 different stampers. So again, these are from eBay. I have this one. I actually haven't used this one in a long time, but my other one, I'm going to show you it really quickly. It's all cracked up because I've been way too rough and pressing way too hard on it. So you can see how it's very, very cracked. So I need to get a replacement stamper. So I will say that this one is definitely way squishier than this one. So I'm not sure how well this is going to work. If it doesn't work well, what I'll do is actually use this end of the stamper on this one because it's not cracked yet. It's a lot smaller, but I'm going to try this one out and see because I found it in my drawer, and I'm sure it's just an old one that I had and I don't know, didn't use it anymore for whatever reason. And then also I have this one here. Now this is one that I use for chrome. So if you notice, it's very foggy. There's some little cracks and stuff in this one as well. I got this on eBay forever and ever ago, but this one is the one that I use when I'm using chromes because it gets foggy. Now, you will see when I do the design, it is a lot harder to see where to place the design on the nail. So you really have to wing it and just cross your fingers that it works out. I know Talia has been using the sticky stamping polish from Clear Jelly Stamper and really, really likes it. I don't have that, so I'm just going to do it the old school way that I've been doing it forever. So I'll show you that method as well. And then in regards to brushes, I have this little detailer brush here. I got this one on eBay. I like it. It's pretty good. This is what I'm going to use to draw my snowflakes, to hand paint my snowflakes. So you'll see that. And then top coats. I have, obviously, I love my Young Nail Stain Resistant, but I'm not using it in this video because I don't like to waste it when I'm using tutorials. I just have an old gel polish or gel top coat that I will be using in the video, but this is the one I would use on a client. And I recently got the Crystal Nails Matte Ever Matte Top Coat. Now, the reason I purchased this was because when I went to order from the Pink Chair, they didn't have the 2M Beauty one in stock. So Kelly had recommended this one. I've been using using it and I haven't had any issues. I had one client message me that her nail chipped, but when she sent me a picture, it was actually scratched, and she admittedly said that she was doing stock at work, so I'm assuming it just got scratched in the boxes and things like that, but no one else has had any issues. So far I really like it. I will also mention that I really like the shape of the brush. The brush has a rounded head on it, so it's a very, very nice brush. The consistency of it is actually really, really clear, and at first I thought maybe because I hadn't shaken it or it hadn't been stirred that, like, you know, all of the matte bits were in the bottom, but I gave it a good stir, a good shake, and it's still actually really clear, and it does cure tack-free. So far I'm really liking it. This is definitely a good replacement for the 2M one. I would use both of them. If you guys have a favorite matte top coat, let me know in the comment section below. And I think that is it for everything. I know it's a lot of stuff, so let's get into the design. So let's start off with the design. So the design is going to be the same for both of these nails, but I'm going to show you how to do the design on top of a finished filed nail, and also how to embed the acrylic glitter, or if you're doing a gel glitter. So I just wanted to show both ways because I do have acrylic techs and gel techs that watch my videos, and some people prefer to embed glitter and some people prefer to apply it on top like a sugar nail with top coat. So I'm going to start off with the acrylic one. So this one will have to be finished filed and everything like that. So in the product part of the video, I showed you guys that I was going to be using my soft white that I custom mixed, but I don't know what I was thinking. I actually need the white. I need something white. So I'm just using the extra white, the core white from Young Nails. I have not actually used this yet. This is a new jar to me. I just purchased it, so I haven't used it. Now the reason is because when you're doing acrylic and you're doing any type of layering, you want to keep the layers as thin as possible. So if I was to use my soft white, I would have to make that layer a little bit thicker just to get the opacity that I wanted. So what we're going to do is start off by putting a thin layer, just a very, very thin layer of this white. And I'm just going to grab my bead. Like I said, I've not used this before, so I'm just going to pat it on. And again, you know, when working with clients, we want to be careful not to get the product all over the skin. I mention that quite often in my videos, and the reason is because I am constantly seeing videos and tutorials and things all over where they are constantly getting it all over the skin purposefully. They're wiping the brush filled with monomer all over the skin. So obviously when we're working on tips like this, we have a little more leeway to be a little more sloppy. We don't have to be so careful, but I do want to reiterate that when you're working on clients, please be careful not to get it all over the skin. If you have an accident, wipe it off right away. So there we go. I've got that little layer. As you can see, you cannot even tell the layer is there. It's very, very thin. It's still semi-transparent. You can still see through it a little bit. That's okay. We don't want it to be a thick, solid white. We just want to have a little bit of opacity so that when we apply our glitter, it's not see-through at all. You get to see that really white glitter. So now generally you would go through and do all 10 fingers if that's what you're going to be doing on this design, and then you would let that layer just dry. So I'm just going to close up my jar here and get my other one, and by the time I have that done, this should be dried just enough that I can apply my glitter. So I'm going to now apply my glitter. Now also, before you apply your white, when you're doing acrylic, I always tell you guys to put a thin layer of clear as a barrier between the colored acrylic and the natural nail. So when you go to do a fill, you just file down to that thin clear layer, not into the natural nail. So before this white layer, you'd want to put a thin layer of clear. So now you can see why with all of these layers, it can get very bulky if you're not being careful. So I'm now going to apply my glitter. So you want to apply, you know, a layer that is not super thick, but one that obviously gives the opacity that you are looking for. You guys, can you see how beautiful this glitter is? It is going to be a very sad, sad day for me when I run out of that glitter because it's amazing. So I'm just building a very thin layer, making sure that I don't have any holes or pockets that are see-through. I want it to be opaque, but not super thick, because then we also have to go back in and cap with clear. Now, if you are a gel nail tech and you build your structure and your nails with gel, you would do the exact same steps. You would put a thin clear layer, a thin white layer, and then you would do your glitter gel, whichever, if it's custom made or pre-mixed, and then you're going to cap and clear and encapsulate that glitter. So I'm just patting it around, and I'm just going to take a quick peek. I think there's a bit of a pocket here, so I'm just going to add a little bit more. Now, another trick, I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but if you have glitter acrylic, sometimes you will notice that the glitter will actually sink to the bottom because it is heavier than the acrylic. So what I like to do sometimes is just actually shake the jar, and that'll actually bring the glitter right back to the surface, and you'll notice, or maybe it's the glitter is lighter than the acrylic, I'm not sure, but I know it just works because there's been times where I've gotten down to sort of the very last bit of a custom mix and there's more acrylic powder than there is glitter, and all I have to do is give it a little shaky shake and all of the glitter kind of rises to the top, so then I can, you know, grab a more concentrated bead of acrylic with glitter. So that's what I wanted right there, because there was just a little bit of a pocket, so I just wanted to make sure that when I apply the glitter that it's very, very opaque and concentrated. So we've got a good coverage here. I'm going to add a little bit to the top there. A lot of times when working with glitters, we can have pockets and it's hard to see because of the lighting. So you can even get your clients to take their hands out of the light and just kind of take a peek, and they'll be good to let you know, oh yeah, there's a spot here missing or whatever. So, all right, so there you go. As you can see, it is a beautiful, beautiful white sparkle. And the addition of that very thin white layer underneath really helps this glitter to show white. If you put this glitter over a natural nail, it is still quite white, but it will have that little bit of a skin tone undertone to it, which is still very pretty and very soft. I do it all the time. All right, so now I'm just going to go in with my clear acrylic and cap this with clear, and this is where you would build the majority of your structure and your apex. And then obviously you're going to have to go in and file. So again, if you were a gel tech, you would be doing this with your builder gel or whatever it is that you sculpt your nails with, and you want to use clear because you want to see that glitter. You want it to be as crystal clear as possible. The Young Nails acrylic is pretty clear. It's got a pretty clear finish to it. I definitely do find it's a pretty good product so far. I'm liking it. I'm still learning, you know, to use it, and it's very different in application to my old acrylic line. It's going to take me a little bit of getting used to, but I will say the company has been very good to me on Instagram. I've asked them a lot of questions recently about stuff, and they've been very good at getting back and helping me. So I really like that. That stands out to me with a company. Being able to get help. They have a lot of YouTube videos that are also very helpful. So there we go. So as you can see, it is not overly thick at all. Now I am going to obviously file some also. So I'm going to let this sit aside, and then I'm going to finish file it once it's cured and get it ready. I will buff it as well. I do find if you are doing acrylic with embedded glitter, you need to buff it because the glitter inside will shine so much better if you buff the nail. Now you don't want to buff it so that it's so smooth that the top coat doesn't stick to it, but you do want to give it a good buff. I just use my regular white buffers. I honestly don't even know what grit they are. They're just the regular white buffers that I get. I get them from the Pink Chair and I love them. So I'm going to let this sit aside and cure, and I'm going to move on to the other one, doing the exact same design but just showing you with the sugar nail type of effect. All right guys, so for this one, this would be on top of a finish filed nail. So whether you are building with acrylic or gel, you would have your nail built, finish filed, and ready for the art. So I'm going to go in with my Madame Glam Perfect White, and I'm going to put a thin layer. Again, it does not have to be a thick layer. We just want that little bit of whiteness underneath of the glitter, so that glitter will really, really, really stand out. So I am going to put a thin layer, and then we're going to do the sugar nail effect, essentially, where we sprinkle the glitter in on top of the white gel polish. And then I'm going to get my glitter. Now, when I do my sugar nails, I always put a piece of paper towel underneath the client's hand. I'm going to actually remove it from this little holder so that I don't get glitter all over that holder. And I sprinkle the glitter right into that wet gel polish. Like, ugh, who doesn't love that? I love sprinkling glitter because it just looks so pretty. And there we go. Again, it's a beautiful, beautiful glitter. So now what I like to do is kind of just run my finger along the side. Now, obviously you would want to be having your gloves on for this. I just like to do that just so that if there's any kind of, I call them little pokey outies, you just kind of press those little glitter bits in so that they're not sticking out too far on the side. And then I'm going to get that into the light and cure. Like I said, I do return this glitter. I ain't wasting this stuff, that's for darn sure. Back to the jar. Now I know a lot of people think, oh gosh, but it's been on the client's hands. Well, if you are getting your clients to scrub their hands very well before they come into their nail appointment, there shouldn't be anything on their hands that is going to cause an issue. So there we go. I've got my glitter back in the jar, and I'm curing that for 60 seconds because that is what Madame Glam recommends for their gel polish. So when it comes out, you want to give it a little dust. Now I have this very old dust brush from, I think it was C&D. I bought it literally when I started years ago. It has to be, like, I need to take these little diamonds off that I put on there. It's looking very gnarly, but this is the brush that I use always to dust off my glitter. The reason being because it is a little bit of a harder bristle, so it really gets in there and gets that excess glitter off, so that when you put your top coat on, there's less transfer of those glitters. I have my other little dust brushes that are very soft, and those are the ones that I prefer to use on clients. They're very, very soft, like when I'm just dusting off the nail dust. I don't like to use anything really hard because it's not fun for the client when you're really ramming those like plastic bristled brushes into their skin. So, but this one is great for removing glitter. So I've got that. I'm just going to actually remove the glitter off of the little handle as well. And I've got glitter everywhere, which to me is not a bad thing. What I'm going to do is just apply 2 layers of top coat. Now, Young Nails has a gel top coat called Gloss, and it's way thicker, and I actually used to use it all the time back when I used to use Young Nails many years ago. And so I actually am going to pick some up because I want it for this exact reason, for items that I normally would maybe do 2 coats of top coat, say foils or chromes or things like that. Anything that you would have issues with chipping or texture, I'm going to get a jar of that. So I would put a layer of that gloss on first because it is a thicker top coat and it really self-levels nice. And then I would finish off with my stain resistant top coat or whatever top coat you guys like. But for this, I'm just going to apply 2 coats of my top coat. So, okay, you guys, the wind is crazy. It is so crazy. It sounds like my house is going to blow over. All right, so I'm going to apply 2 coats of top coat. I'm just going to apply it liberally, making sure to cap that free edge. Obviously on this nail, I'm going around all the edges because there's no finger, there's no skin in the way. So you can see it's such a pretty glitter. It is so beautiful. Really, really, really nice. So I'm going to just put on a regular good layer of top coat, stick that in the light to cure. So when it comes out of the light, what I like to do is just take my fingernail, or you can use your cuticle pusher, whatever you have on hand, and I just like to kind of rub it along the edge of the nail and also just kind of along the top to see if I feel any little bits. Now, if I get close to the camera, you can hear that I can feel it. There's little... You hear that? So there is a little bit of like still kind of texture. So then I go in with my second layer. But first what I do is go along the sides just with a hand file just to smoothen out if there is any edge that is sticking out. A lot of times on the sides, that's where the little pokey outies will be. So now I'm going to go in with my second layer of top coat. Again, making sure to go around all of the edges and the sidewall, the free edge, making sure to cap everything. Now this is where you can also do the floating method, where you take a bigger blob of gel polish or gel top coat and you kind of float it along. And then you get the client to stick their hand upside down for a few seconds, and it'll kind of self-level, and then get it in the light. Now, you will notice this top coat. This is an old top coat that I have not used it for years. I bought it many moons ago. I wouldn't even use it on clients now. It's so old. So when I pull out that nail, you will probably notice that it's got a little bit of yellow to it. I literally just emptied the jar, so I will now go into my stain resistant with my young nails and use that for you guys. Or I could use the Kiara Sky non-wipe as well, just because I hate wasting my good old stain resistant. But yeah, this one did yellow a little bit, so ideally I shouldn't have used it on this design because it's everything is white, but that's okay. It will dissipate. A lot of the times when you get a top coat that does have any kind of yellowing to it, when it cures, the yellowing does dissipate over time. Like by the end of the day, there is no yellowing left. Okay, so this is what it looks like now that it's come out of the light. I'm just going to wipe that dispersion layer off. Now I'll pull over the acrylic one because I have to top coat the acrylic one as well, but you can already see, can you see how much more yellow that one is? So you want to use a top coat that doesn't yellow if you can. Avoid that, but like I said, this should dissipate over time. So I'm just going to top coat this one now with my Young Nail Stain Resistant. All right, so I'm going to get that in the light to cure. So while that one is curing, I'm going to actually put this one sort of aside for now because the one with the acrylic or the embedded glitter is going to be the thumbnail, and this is actually going to be the pinky nail. So I want to work through the designs one by one, but I just wanted to show you both of these together because they are going to be the exact same design, just done using different methods. Like I said, this one would be over a finish filed nail, a already structured built nail, and the acrylic one would be embedding the glitter into the acrylic or into your builder gel. So I'm going to put this one aside. I'm going to work on the acrylic one and show you that design, and then I'm going to move on to what would be the pointer finger. All right, so this one has come out. This is the one with the young nails. So now we're simply going to hand paint some snowflakes and sprinkle some clear acrylic into them, and then that is it. That nail will be done. All right, so I am just going to dollop out some of this white gel polish from Madame Glam. Now you will also see I've got some clear here. Now it has been recommended to me that when cleaning your brushes for your nail art that you use with gel, to use clear gel as a way to clean out the brush. The only thing I hate about this is I hate wasting my top coat because I don't have like a builder gel. So I feel like I'm always wasting my top coat cleaning my brush now, but that's all right. It's better than ruining my brushes, I guess. So I've got my detailer brush here. This is a medium length. It's not super long. I have another one that's a lot shorter and then one that's about this long, so it's bigger. So we are now going to go in and just hand paint some snowflakes. Now, I do very simple snowflakes. You can do them as intricate as you like, but for me, the simplest ones work very well and they're very effective. So I'm just going to draw out, it's very similar to how we would do a spider web, right? You want to draw out your lines. Now I'm doing this one from the side, and I'm making it quite large because I just want to. Now I am ordering, what is it called? Something Control. I want to order it from Young Nails. I'm deciding between the Young Nails and the Ugly Duckling for art paint. So I think the Ugly Duckling one is called art paint and the Young Nails is called motion control or something like that. I forget what it's called. But I'm torn between the two. So please guys, give me some feedback down below. If you have tried them both, which one you prefer and why? Because I'm still very, very torn. All right, so I've drawn my lines, and now what I'm doing is drawing little triangles. So basically the inside is going to look like it has diamonds. I don't know if you can see because it's white, but there we go. There, that's a better view right there. So I'm just drawing my little diamonds. And I'm going to also put a half one here to kind of finish it off. And then the next step is to take and follow that same pattern, but I'm going to just draw lines up the nail like that on either side. So I'm going to draw one here and one here. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. That's a better view for you guys. And you're going to do that on each one of the larger lines. Now, you could connect these if you really wanted to. You could connect them, but I am not going to connect them. And by connect them, I mean you could connect this one with this one here. But I don't really like that look so much, so I am just going to do it as I am. And I want to have a tip sticking out, because I'm going to add some little dots on that. Now this is a very subtle look, right? It's going to be very subtle. Now if you wanted to have something with more, oomph, you would do a colored gel polish. You could add, even just a pastel would really stand out. But that's it. And then once you have that, I'm going to just take a good old little daughter tool that I have on the side here, and I'm going to add some dots just at the very tip of that. Now, something you want to mention to your clients when doing this design is that they will have texture to them. So some clients cannot handle texture at all. So if that's the case, this would not be a design for them. Let's see if I can get it to focus. There we go. So as you can see, I've just got like a big old half snowflake on the side there. So now I'm just going to move my palette out of the way. I'm going to take it off of this little holder. I'm going to get my clear acrylic, and I've just got a big old cuticle pusher. This is an old one. I just use these ones literally just for this type of method. And then you just sprinkle your clear acrylic into that wet gel polish design or gel paint, whatever it is you prefer to use. And then you want to dust it off. And then we're going to stick that into the lamp to cure. All right, so once that comes out of the lamp, I'm going to give it a dust and just get all of that excess acrylic off. And there we go. So when you feel it, you will feel there's a little bit of texture. So the thing that I like about this is that the design is matte, but the glitter underneath is sparkly. So you get that contrast, which I really, really like. Again, if you want that snowflake to stand out even more, just add a colored snowflake. But I love how this looks. It's just such a subtle, pretty effect. So that is going to be our thumbnail. All right, so for the next design, which will be the pointer finger, I have started out by doing a base layer of the Madame Glam white. Now I just did one layer. You can see it is not an absolute perfect layer, and that's okay because we're doing the chrome on top. The chrome kind of hides a little bit of imperfection, so you don't have to waste your gel polish or your gel paint by doing two coats. You can just do one coat, and then I'm going to do one coat of the Kiara Sky No Wipe top coat. Obviously, whatever top coat you use for chroming, go ahead and add that. And then we're going to get that in the light and cure that, and then we're going to apply our chrome. Now when you're applying your top coat, you can actually flip it upside down as well, just to make sure that it's nice and self-leveling. And Shirin actually mentioned this when she was doing foiling, And so because you want a really nice smooth surface when you're doing the chrome, you don't want there to be any bumps or ripples. So I'm gonna try that technique here. You guys, you can hear the wind. It is so crazy. I seriously feel like my window's gonna blow in on me. So if that happens, well, that'll make for a pretty good YouTube video, I guess. I'll get lots of watches on that one. So I'm just gonna open up my Cocoa and Claire Chrome. I love these little jars that they have. They're just so teensy. So this chrome, the one called Eternity, was the one that I found was the closest to the Social Clause one. I forget what it's called. I used that one for years. It was like the first chrome, I think, to come out on the market, the first like unicorn chrome that came out on the market. And it was a very, very good chrome. The Pink Cherry used to carry it. They no longer carry it. So I had been looking for a replacement. Someone had suggested Cocoa and Claire, and here we are. I have it, and I really do like it. It is a very, very close replica. So now I'm going to go in with my Cocoa and Claire Chrome. Now, obviously, when working on these little tip holders, sometimes doing chromes is a little harder because we do want to press it in very, very well and really rub it in. But let's hope it doesn't pop off and I can really get it rubbed in. But this chrome gives kind of a blue, purple, pinky kind of chrome effect over white. I actually have a swatch stick with both white and black. It actually turns more of like a green color over black, which is crazy. We know these chromes, they just shift in so many different ways when you put them over different colors. I have a video on the Cocoa and Claire Chrome kit, so I will link that below for you guys as well, and it just shows you all three of the chromes, and I show them over black, white, and purple just so you could see it over also like a color. Oh, this guy's starting to pop off. See if I can push it on there. So you really, with chromes, as we know, we really want to burnish them in. So another way that you can do really get them burnished in, especially if you have a large nail, I will actually just use a little finger condom. I know they're not called that, but I call them finger condoms. And I will just really rub it in really well. So when you are using this method, I've mentioned it in a recent video, if you have nails yourself and you happen to kind of bend your finger down as you're chroming, you can actually come across the nail, the client's nail, with your fingernail and end up scratching the chrome. And it is a pain in the butt to fix. You actually have to re-top coat, re-chrome, and everything. So when you're doing it, try to bend your finger upwards just so that you don't end up scratching anything off or damaging that beautiful chrome that you've applied. But yeah, sometimes with the finger condom, you can just really get a good rub in there. Especially when using this little holder, I find it a lot easier than the silicone tool. But the silicone tool works very well also. I use it always on clients. Generally, I don't even use the finger condom unless they have a very large nail. So that is that. Let me get that dusted off. I'm just going to get my softer brush now because I don't want to use that hard brush and scratch my chrome. So there we go. So that is that chrome. It's very pretty. There we go, that's better. So there we go, we've got that really nice chrome. Now this one I'm actually going to do matte over the chrome. I've done it before and it does give a cool effect, but the reason I wanted to do this is because the Snowflake is going to be a gel polish on top, and so it's going to have a little bit of shine to it, so I just wanted to have the contrast of the two. So I'm just going to apply my layer of matte top coat. Now one thing I will mention about this matte top coat, so I have used the 2M Beauty over stamping and it does smear the stamping. You have to do it very quick in one quick swipe. It is doable. I make it work all the time, but I recently used this one over stamping, this Crystal Nails one, and it does not smear the stamping. So something to keep in mind. If that is a huge issue for you, I would say go with this one out of the two that I have tried. All right, guys, so I don't know if you can see, but the effect of the chrome with the matte is very cool. It actually is picking up more of like a greenish hue to it, but it is very cool. So now we're going to go back in with our little palette, with our gel polish and our little detail brush again, and I'm just going to hand paint some snowflakes. So I'm going to do one up in the corner here. Now this one I'm going to do, whoopsies, a full snowflake. So you're going to start off with going straight down. You want to create 6 pieces, I guess you would say. So you could go in the middle and then create, it would be 8, but I like doing 6. I find it's easier and the design turns out nicer, I find. So we're gonna go like that. And then one this way as well. And you want to make sure that they're all, you know, the same size, roughly, as close as you can. And then we're going to go in and do those little diamonds, or those little triangles that create diamonds. Now again, I feel like this is where using the Ugly Duckling, what are they called? Art paints, or the Young Nails art paints. I forget what they're called. I want to say motion control, but I feel like that's not what they're called. Something control. I know that would be very, very good. All right, so we've got our little diamond shapes. I'm just going to extend this a bit because I want to get 2 of these. So now you can actually create more of like a teardrop shape by pressing down. If you see, I don't know if it's picking, if it'll pick up there. It's sort of like more of a teardrop shape. So it's the same way that I do my little 5-petal flowers, my mini 5-petal flowers. You barely touch at the tip and then you just press, and it creates more of like a little sort of teardrop. Or you can just paint a teardrop too if you want. You just make it more, this thing does not want to stay on here. You make it more rounded, like so. So it's just a little bit more of like a fatter line instead of just the straight line like we did on the other one. And I mean, really guys, all you have to do is Google snowflakes, and there's a million different images of so many different ways to hand paint snowflakes. It's crazy. And again, I do want to extend that line. Oh, I just slipped. Look at that. Start all over. All right, guys. So I had to fix that. I had to start all over. So I'm just going in, I'm adding my little push petals, as I call them, when I'm doing the flowers. You're just pushing down. Now, like I was trying to say before, I screwed up. I want to make sure that there is an extension on this so that it's a little bit longer. We don't want it to go just to the edge of where those push petals are. I do want it to extend out because, again, I'm going to put some little dots there. So you can see what we've got. So it looks a little bit different. I'll pull up that other one. So it's just a little bit different, just a slight bit different, but it does look different with those little bits of push petals or teardrops. So then I'm going to add little dots. Okay, so now I'm just going to do a little half one off the corner here, very similar to the other one that we did. This one's just going to be as if it was a larger snowflake. And you can actually make these go way up like that and kind of point them. Did you see how it's a little more like pointy? Again, if you just Google snowflake, even if you Google snowflake clip art, you will find so many different snowflake designs. There's hundreds and hundreds. Who knew snowflakes could be so different? And then I'm just going to do one line on this one. Just one, like that, oh gosh, what is that comedy lady who did the Asian nail salon thing? Just one. And again, I do like the finishing off with the little dots. I do think that that's cute. And then I'm going to get that in the light to cure. That is it for this one. Now I do have to wipe that tacky layer off of the Madame Glam because it does have a little bit of tack to it, but that is it. So again, a very subtle look, but super pretty. You could do this in any color that you want on top. You could even do it in black and it would be very cool. So this entire design, I want it to be a very subtle, soft design. So for the next one, I'm going to do the exact same thing with the chrome. I'm going to apply a layer of the Kiara Sky, and then I'm going to apply a layer of the chrome, but this time we're going to top coat with a shiny top coat. So I'm going to use the Young Nail Stain Resistant. So now I have a jar with gel in it for the Young Nail Stain Resistant that is specifically for glitter or chromes. That way I don't cross-contaminate my other one. I'm not sure how much I have in here right now, but oh yeah, I've got a good amount. So I'm just going to seal this guy. As you could see, when I was trying to do the chrome, this little tip kept wanting to pop off, which is so irritating. But I got it on there. So the chrome application on this one may not be perfect just because my patience level is 0. So I was just getting it on there because it kept popping off. So I'm going to get that layer of top coat on and get that in the light. All right, you guys. So when I do chromes, I always do 2 coats of top coat. On clients. I'm not going to do 2 coats on this because it's not going to be on a client, but when working on clients, make sure you do 2 coats. I just find that it chips way less. I don't really have any chipping with clients with the Young Nail Stain Resistant over chrome, so that dispersion layer has been wiped off. Now again, I'm just going to go in with my palette and we're going to paint another snowflake, same thing. So I'm just going to fast forward through this one because you've seen me do it a couple times now, so it's pretty easy. And then we're going to sprinkle in the acrylic into this one as well. So the contrast will be, the nail will be the chrome and shiny, and then the snowflake will be matted out. Alright guys, so you can see on this one, I actually added little dots on the tips of the triangles as well, and I made the little side pieces here just like the little push petals. I just made them kind of fat and round. So now we're going to sprinkle in our clear acrylic once again. So the methods are all very similar, but we're just combining them differently. So I can show you several different ways to do snowflake nails, all in one tutorial. Get that in the light to cure for 60 seconds. All right, so that one is done now as well. And there we have it. This one might be my favorite. I don't know. I love that chrome. So let me show you all 3 of these together so you can see the difference in how that chrome looks. With the matte as opposed to the shiny. So look, so far this is what we've got. Very, very cool. And you could do this with any glitter, of course, any colored snowflake. Use your imagination. The options are endless. Okay, so moving on to the what would be the ring finger. So this one, you would build your nail in a soft white. So I've just done this one already. I've actually just put the acrylic underneath just so that I didn't have to end up filing and doing all of that. But basically you would build your nail in your soft white acrylic or your soft white gel for structure, or you could build the nail in whatever normal you build it, clear, whatever builder you normally use, and you could apply a soft white gel polish on top. But I wanted to show the easiest way, as far as I'm concerned, to do this design would be to build the structure of the nail with your soft white. And then we're going to do some stamping with some chrome. So again, Talia has been using the sticky stamping polish from Clear Jelly Stamper, and it seems to work really, really well, but I don't have that, so we're going to do it the old school way. I've been doing it this way for quite some time now. So you want to get your chrome, and your stamper that you would designate for chrome, because it is going to get ruined. It is going to become cloudy. So I've just been using this one. And what you need for that also is your white stamping polish. So we're going to get that ready. And my scraper I will need, and my little makeup applicator brush. One other thing I want to mention is that you do want to buff the nail so that it is nice and smooth. If you have a lot of lines and texture from your hand file, if you do hand filing, the stamp and the chrome won't look quite as good. It'll still work, but it'll look even better if you make sure to buff the nail smooth after you have finished filed and shaped your nail. So I'm just going to go through and wipe this stamping plate with a little bit of acetone just to clean it off a little bit. And then we are going to take our stamper and our makeup applicator, and we're just going to, I'm just dipping into my little bit of chrome here, and you just basically want to cover an area big enough for the stamp. So like I mentioned before, because it's a little harder to see through this stamper, I'll flip it upside down here for you. It is way harder to see through because, first of all, the stamper has gotten cloudy after using alcohol and such to remove the chrome. And also with the addition of the chrome, it's really hard to see through. So if you are wanting a very precise application, and say you're wanting that snowflake right dead set perfect in the middle, this is going to be a very hard method to do that because you can't see through perfectly to do the application, as you can see. So this type of method works really well if you're doing a full coverage stamp that's going to cover the entire nail, or if you are just not 100% particular where that design is going to go. So I am not super picky with this. I'm going to have the big one here, and then I'm going to add a few smaller ones, and they don't have to be in an exact position. So I've got the chrome onto the stamper, and it's roughly the size of that snowflake there. So I'm going to get my my nail polish, my stamping polish, and we're going to apply that to the stamper. Now you do have to work quick, just like any stamping. So we want to stamp, scrape, rock, and you see it's picked up the image, and then we do want to apply it as quickly as possible to the nail and just press down. I do hold it for a couple of seconds, and then I just release really slowly. And as you can see, it did come off there, and look at that. So now I did do get a little bit of transfer here from another one. So I'm just going to go in with a little brush, or if you're very careful, you can just use your wipe, but you can go in and just carefully wipe away what you don't want. And there we go. You guys, like, isn't that an awesome design? Look at how like chromy and beautiful that is. All right, so now I just want to get this on there better. I'm going to pick another design here. So I'm just going to wipe my stamping plate, and which one do I want? Oh, I do like this one here, so maybe I'll grab that little guy. So we'll do that little guy, same thing. So now you just want to wipe your stamper. Now, honestly, guys, over time, I have just kind of accidentally used the same wipe that had acetone on it that I would be wiping my stamping plate, and that is probably why it's gotten so cloudy over the years. Maybe if I just strictly only used alcohol and never ever messed with the acetone on here, it wouldn't have gotten so cloudy. But I still use it, it still works, and eventually, you know, I'll get another one, and I'll just try being more diligent to only use alcohol and see if that makes a difference. So we've got our chrome on there. I'm going to go in again with my stamping polish, scrape and rock, scrape and rock, and then I'm going to stamp that on here. And there we go. There's another one. Again, there's some transfer up here. Oops. Oh, these little tips, you guys. This is why I prefer to do them on swatch sticks, honestly. But I wanted to use my little pumpkin holder today because it's so damn cute. So now obviously we need something over here. So again, what can we do? This one's nice too. So we'll do that one. So again, I'm just going to wipe this off and we're going to start again. And it kind of touched the other one, but that's okay. Now I'm going to just take my little duster brush and dust off, and voila, you have some little cute chrome. So now I'm going to top coat this. I'm going to grab my glitter jar so that I don't transfer anything. And then we just top coat with a shiny top coat. That's it for this one. Super simple. You could add little dots, you know, little white dots in and around. This one would be very cool. It would look like little snowfall. Oopsies, just like little white dots here and there. But I just wanted to show snowflakes. I didn't want to do any dots and stuff for this design. Now again, I would double coat this just to make sure that that design stays put, but that is so pretty. It is so chromy and so beautiful. Now you could do this with any chrome and it would work. Now I'm going to get that in the light to cure. I just wanted to see if that one that was yellowing had gone back to white. It definitely looks less yellow right now, so I think eventually it will go back to being more white. You can see the one with the Young Nail Stain Resistant is very white. It is crisp white. That sparkle has not got any discoloration at all. So basically I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did on this nail on this one, and I'm just going to do the same method where we paint it on with the gel polish, and then we're going to sprinkle the acrylic into it. So I'm just going to fast forward through this one because you've seen me do it already. All right, so this one you can see I just created a little bit of a loop in the center just to try something different, and it looks pretty cool. So that's how that one looks. Another little neat design. And again, go in with that acrylic and just sprinkle that over top. And we're going to get that in the light. Okay guys, so in the beginning of the video in the product section, I showed you that I brought out these two stamps here and I was going to try out this one. So what I was going to show you, and I honestly just forgot to show you guys, was if you have a hard time hand painting your snowflakes just off of, you know, looking at an image or a photo, what you can do is stamp the design first using a stamping plate. So on this last one, for example, that we just did, that I'm going to just dust that acrylic off of, if you were not, you know, able to just hand paint it, go in with a stamp on whatever design you want. Now obviously you want to use something that is a little larger, just because if you're going to be hand painting over it, it's going to be pretty hard to hand paint some tiny little detail like that and get it that small. You have to be very meticulous with a very tiny brush. It's not impossible, but it is a lot more work. So you could use something like that, or on this other stamping plate, you know, an image like that, or like that, for example, or like that. And you could stamp that down and then basically trace over it with your little bit of gel polish that I've already wiped off of this palette, paint over that design, and then do the acrylic sprinkling, just to have a guide as to where to, you know, hand paint. If you're just not comfortable with hand painting and you don't think you can do it, you can use a stamp it down, and basically trace over it with your gel polish. So that's why I originally brought those out, but I just went to town hand painting for you guys and got it done. So I am going to clean up my mess, and then I'm going to show you the final product. Here they are, all of them finished. Alright guys, so there you have it, my first snowflake tutorial of winter of 2020. I am not a lover of the snow, but I absolutely love snowflakes. I think they're so pretty. So I would love to know in the comment section below, which one of these is your favorite? I have to say the middle one is definitely my favorite. I think it's just the one that stands out the most. It's got the chrome and the matte snowflake on top, and it does have a little bit of texture, so it's super cool. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please share it with someone else. And as always, guys, have an amazing day.